Scattered showers earlier today, but heavy rainfall, it's on the way.
Friends and family share new information about the victims in Monday's tragic plane crash.
How to gather for New Year's amid a surge in COVID cases. We hear what one local medical expert has to say.
The Verify team has been busy separating facts from rumors this year. We revisit the top 5 Verify stories of 2021.
And after being brought back to life after suffering 3 heart attacks, the Chula Vista mother who has a message for us all.
And the late fees that racked up for a library book overdue by 53 years. News 8 starts right now.
Another winter storm is dumping more rain and is bringing a flood threat to our coastal areas. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Marcella Lee.
And I'm Richard Allen in for Carlo Chiquetto. That rain first arrived in the North County. Tonight, our Regina On is live in Oceanside with how conditions are there.
But first, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis for a first look at your microclimate forecast. Carlene, where's it hitting right now?
Well, we are seeing it across the county. It's still favoring North County as well, but some isolated activity has started to pick up across southern portions of our county. So let's go ahead and see where exactly it's sticking. So we're seeing that across Fallbrook. There is a little bit of a break, but we're seeing a line of showers is starting to move in towards Oceanside. Also seeing that across Del Mar and starting to move in for downtown. Across the mountains, you're seeing some flurries as well. And so we will have some snow across our local mountains, an additional 2 to 4 inches. Currently, we're seeing some of that activity picking up across Mount Laguna. So we do have more moisture in the forecast until 11:30 tonight. You're seeing another influx of moisture right along the coastline. And then we will have that more widespread across the county through tomorrow morning. So the bulk of that moisture, the heaviest activity does look to be on Thursday. And you're seeing that on our model around 9 in the morning and then becoming a little bit more intense as we go into the afternoon hours. We can't rule out an anytime downpour as well. So 2 p.m. for tomorrow, you're seeing that stretch all the way from the South Bay towards the mountains, even for the desert, and then we start to dry out a little bit more once we get into the nighttime hours. We'll go ahead and take a look at your complete forecast coming up, but more on current conditions and what it looks like out there. I'm going to go ahead and toss it to Regina On in Oceanside.
Yeah, Carlene, so like you mentioned, we are seeing a little bit of a break here in Oceanside. We actually moved from the harbor to downtown, hoping to see a little bit more rain, but it is completely dry at this time, but we know that's going to change. It's been sporadic since I've been here in Oceanside. At times we've seen those heavy rainfalls, but right now, like I mentioned, very, very dry. I did speak with California Highway Patrol, and they say the weather might have contributed to 10 crashes since last night at midnight and 1 fatal crash as well. I also spoke with CAL FIRE, and they tell me they're prepared for water rescues this evening. Luckily, none so far, but they are prepared as we're going to see more heavy rainfall, like you mentioned. And some folks I spoke with here tonight say they're just over the rain, but they're prepared.
We did try and plan ahead. We looked at the week forecast to decide what we wanted to do. So I think yesterday we went to SeaWorld because it wasn't too bad. But then for today and tomorrow, like I said, we're going to go to the movies and kind of just stay out of the cold.
Kind of tired of the rain, but you know, we need it, so we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't get too much worse, but it's cold.
And officers tell me there have been plenty of calls for spinouts this evening, so be sure you're safe out there. Slow all the way down if you can. Make sure your headlights are working, your windshield wipers are working, and stay far from the car in front of you. All of these general guidelines that you want to stick with, especially with inclement weather like we're having here tonight. But if you want to stay up to date with our weather forecast, any advisories, be sure to download the News 8 app, available for you on any smart device. But for now, live here in Oceanside, Marcella, I'll turn things back to you.
All right, and we want to know what the weather is like where you live. We want to see and share your photos. You can upload your pictures and videos right to that CBS 8 app that Regina was just talking about. All you have to do is click on the Near Me feature that's on the bottom right of your screen once you download the app. Super easy, just like uploading to social media, and maybe you'll see some of your photos and videos on our air.
And we are learning new details tonight about the 4 people killed in Monday's tragic plane crash in unincorporated El Cajon.
The plane went down during an intense storm with thick fog and heavy rain, killing all 4 people on board. Tonight, News 8 has confirmed their names, and our Steve Price spoke with family and friends on how they are being remembered.
Compassionate, Professional, love their job, and were good at it, the best of the best. That's how family and friends are remembering the 4 people killed in Monday's tragic plane crash. The crew seen here in a selfie taken just hours before their plane went down. Nurse Tina Ward is in front and fellow nurse Lori Gentz behind her. Mariana Aliano knew them both well.
It's a huge loss for, their families, just everybody, their coworkers, their patients.
Tina's husband, retired Oceanside Fire Chief Joe Ward, sent us these family photos, calling his wife the glue that held their family together. She loved her job so much, their daughters are following in her footsteps, 2 becoming nurses, the 3rd a doctor. Fellow nurses say Tina was the nurse they would want if they needed help.
Very conscientious and with her patients, took very good care of people, was get along with everybody, always smiling and respectful.
Lori is being remembered as super intelligent. She set the bar high and expected others to do the same. Friends say Lori didn't have to work, but like Tina, she loved her job.
She recently had hand surgery and could not wait to get back to work.
The medical examiner's office released the identities of the 2 males on board as 67-year-old Julian Bagage and 45-year-old Douglas Grande. Aero Medevac, the company the 4 worked for, posted a statement on social media Wednesday saying in part, "It is with great sadness that we must share the devastating loss of our colleagues at Aero Medevac Air Ambulance on December 27, 2021. The loss of our friends has left us an indescribable void. To both us and their families, they are unsung heroes, dedicating their lives caring for others in need throughout our community."
They were just full of positive energy and nothing but good. So it's a loss for all of us.
Meanwhile, the investigation into Monday's accident continued at the crash scene in unincorporated El Cajon. Officials say it could be months before a final report is released on this tragedy that took 4 people who dedicated their lives to helping others. Steve Price, News 8.
All right, Steve, thank you. A prominent American investor has been arrested in Russia on suspicion of fraud.
Authorities in St. Petersburg say August Meyer faces 2 counts of fraud over the collapse of a false e-commerce site. This right here is YouTube video of his court appearance in Russia. He's now said to be a Russian citizen. Meyer is the brother of Elizabeth Kimmel, who's the former owner of KFMB stations. She recently pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit mail and wire fraud in the 2019 college admission scandal. She has been sentenced to a 6-week prison term and 2 years of probation.
San Diego County has recorded its first flu death of the season. According to the Health and Human Services Agency, it was a 42-year-old man with underlying medical conditions who had not been vaccinated against influenza. Now, December is often when flu season starts to peak, typically lasting 2 to 3 months. So far, the county has reported a little over 1,000 cases compared to just 54 the same time last year.
Federal health officials expect COVID cases, hospitalizations, and deaths to continue to go up in the coming weeks.
The FDA is also warning at-home rapid antigen tests may be less effective at detecting the more transmissible Omicron variant. The CDC director is also answering critics who are calling for a negative COVID test requirement at the end of isolation.
We know a PCR test would not be viable because that PCR can stay positive for up to 12 weeks.
President Biden has also announced an enhanced strategy that includes distributing 500 million free at-home tests, and federal testing sites are popping up in several states to meet increased demand.
If you're planning to get together with friends and family to ring in the new year, one local doctor says you might want to reconsider.
Now, this comes as the number of county COVID cases has topped 2,000 per day in back-to-back days. CBS 8's Heather Hope has that doctor's advice for gatherings this week.
Local doctors aren't calling for you to cancel your New Year's plans entirely, but one local medical expert is wanting San Diegans to reconsider how they gather for New Year's, ultimately wanting people to move their plans outdoors if weather permits.
Really look at who is going to be at those parties. There will be spread of Omicron in family gatherings and in small parties.
Getting together to celebrate the new year? Dr. Davy Smith, a UC San Diego professor of medicine, offers this suggestion.
Why not have our New Year's Eve party a week from now, or maybe a month from now, or when things are a little cooled off?
Dr. Smith says shifting your holiday celebration to a later date could help decrease the uptick in Omicron cases San Diego County is seeing.
Or it might be okay if I have a bunch of people over, but now's not really the time. We are seeing a surge, and it might be a good time to buckle down and say, okay, you know what, I'm just going to have my New Year's party a month from now. We'll just call it New Year's party in February or something like that.
County public health officials have reported an increase in COVID-19 cases in recent days, with daily cases reaching more than 2,300 and COVID hospitalizations increased from 384 on Sunday to 411. Dr. Smith says don't underestimate the Omicron variant's contagious spread, whether you're vaccinated, boosted, or not.
It's really too early to tell whether or not you get this mild version of COVID that you won't have long-term consequences.
He advises New Year's festivities be held outdoors if possible, or if indoors, wear masks and take a COVID test.
You want to test as soon to that event as possible, because there's incubation periods. If I'm exposed yesterday and I take a test today, it doesn't mean that the exposure yesterday is negative. There's an incubation period. That virus is going to live with me for about 5 days until it pops up that I can detect it in my nose through those rapid tests.
Dr. Smith says since the Omicron variant is causing more asymptomatic infections, partygoers should stay on the safe side.
There's a big chance, a real possibility of bringing Omicron to that party and infecting grandma or somebody else who might not respond well to the vaccine or is not vaccinated.
Heather Hope, CBS 8.
The Holiday Bowl was abruptly called off on Tuesday, but today organizers officially canceled the game after some scrambling, saying they were unable to find a replacement team for UCLA. The Bruins pulled out of yesterday's game against North Carolina State just hours before kickoff over COVID issues. This would have been the first football game ever played at Petco Park, but of course it didn't happen. The Padres say all tickets will be automatically refunded.